Welcome back to War Thunder. Welcome to the Duck Talks number 33. Today we have such a huge variety of topics that I need to go right through to the questions from last Duck Talks right away. First of all, thanks for all the nice comments and compliments for making YouTube content for 1 year and that you guys really like it. You know, it gives me that extra push to continue making practically daily content. Then also I remember all the very detailed and very excited comments under my YouTube videos in the comment sections. I remember those names. I know which persons want to actually get involved or are active parts of the community. If you just enjoy the content, that's fine, no point of criticism there. Then Noodle Bandit 35 asks if I want to see or what I think about the ME264 or the Heinkel 177 in the tech tree. The question is a bit shortened here, and I guess he asks them not to be premium like the BV238, and there is a certain longer story behind it. To cut it short, yes, I want to see those bombers and I want them to have their big bomb load and their historical accurate defensive armament, which is quite impressive. Germany just lacks a 4-engined heavy bomber, by the pure look of it. In terms of bomb load, you have the Do 217, which are fantastic, fast, hard-hitting medium bombers. And I think Germany is, together with Japan, one of the nations that actually lack the over heavy bomb load above 4 tons. The Americans, they have the B-29, and the Russians have 2 years, then also the PE-8 and also the TU-4. But Japan has actually the worst bomber line in terms of bombing capabilities, and that's why they're so strong, because they purely go for fighters, which is how the meta goes. The team with the most fighters usually wins, usually in the bigger picture, except if you fight against the Russians in the jet level at 8.0 and you have 4 TU-4s. Yeah, that's a different story. So yes, I want them, but I wouldn't mind if they have a very high battle rating for balancing reasons. I would be fine with that. Then Brian Yance, I hope I pronounced it right. What do I think of the Orange Doom's video, how to win in less than 7 minutes? If you haven't watched that video, how to win in less than 7 minutes, go and watch it and get the message and stop the video right now. Good. So, if you're back after having watched that video, well, I play most of the time like that. Purely pushing, and after you have secured the capture zone or you have crossed the middle of the map, there is just one target zone, and that is the enemy spawn zone. And fighting through the enemy lines to get there is not spawn camping. Spawn camping is to go around the actual combat zone. For example, if there's just one capture zone on one edge of the map and you go to the other edge of the map and just go around there to catch enemies off guard. However, I also made 2 videos a while ago talking a little bit about that stuff. First of all, the Super Hellcat tank review, where I just say how much I love this vehicle, how good it is in the right hands, how you have to use the first minutes of the game to make the vehicle work and to get the decisive advantage, practically some sort of frontline camping, which sounds weird, but watch that video, my Super Hellcat tank review. And then I also made a video about the Russian AAA dilemma, where I talked excessively about what problems the Russian tech tree has in terms of AAA vehicles, and that should actually give you a lot of video material to watch if you haven't watched them already or you want to re-watch them. Then the last kind of question comes from Game Over 47, What do you think is the best and worst BR for aircraft and tanks for each nation? The simple answer is I can't answer that, because it is a mixture of, is it stock, is it upgraded, do you want to play it for fun, do you want to play it for grinding, do you want to play it competitively, do you, I don't know, play arcade or realistic or simulator, do you want to play just that vehicle or as part of a lineup, and you know, the do you actually want to fight, you know, in combined arms, what are your personal preferences and so on. So I can't possibly answer that. But for tanks I would say, well, try out the Russians, and I'm not joking, try them out, because there are, if you talk about Russian bias or not, it doesn't matter, they're easy to play. You know, they might not have the capabilities for a ultra skilled high end super player to make it work in every situation, but at the end of the day, you know, if you just can stand in front of a vehicle of the enemy team and just blast it and just bounce the return shot, that's always nice, you know. Just, you know, I think you need to get in tanks to rank 3 to understand the character of a nation, and then at rank 5 it changes for practically every nation again, you know, where it actually ends the tech tree. And for planes, I guess Japan and Britain are very beginner friendly nations, let's put it that way. Germany is the hardest in RB, in my opinion, together with the Americans. The Russians and the British are very competitive, let's put it that way. Except for the planes currently being equipped with 23mm cannons, because they still have issues, let's put it that way. So that's it with the questions, and it's already like 7.5 minutes. After the questions, let's talk about the huge variety of topics. First of all, I want to talk about old videos, then confidence in chats, then also the fake elitism in War Thunder, and yeah, that I'm stunned with the amount of hate to a certain degree. This will be part in a context. Then also the announcement from Gaijin about the destroyer that comes into the pre-closed beta test that is still running, and the kind of, yeah, a little bit of video delay. Then also about a concert that I was on Saturday, and yeah, then also why there was no tank review last week. Then also at the end of the day, I have to talk about a little friend request issue in War Thunder. So old videos, I recorded a lot of videos in advance because I knew that I had to take a break from War Thunder, because I was at the edge of getting bored with it, you know, in terms of, you know, now I have to play it, not instead of having fun playing it like I had the last 4 years. And I had this time a few times now, and I played just different games, like for example World of Warships, and I also recorded one video already about a certain really nice ship. So then also, yeah, the next thing would be the confident in chats. Now when you unlock your first chats, okay, for example P80 or the attacker, therefore, or you know, the ME262, you quickly learn that a lot of the props are really hanging hard on your tail. You can't shoot down anything, you're too slow, too unmaneuverable, the plane just wobbles around like a whale in the sky. It just isn't fun. And I had this kind of experience always, regardless of what I played. Arcade or realistic, didn't matter. However, then I unlocked one upgrade on the Meteor in particular, and that was kind of the eye-opener, and that was the wing repair, and that just made the plane you know, so smooth in its handling in comparison to having it without it. And also you suddenly got that speed in the long run for the zoom climb, or when you wanted to run away. You know, you could technically reach that as well, but you had to have such an altitude advantage which you couldn't get in the first place. You know, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, so to speak. And that is then the game changer for the where the difference between props and chats really comes. It's the upgrade rate, because for props it was raw violence in the engine power that you needed. Like, the stronger the engine, the better. You felt a difference between wing repair, fuselage repair, and a new frame and so on, but it wasn't as important in my experience than pure engine upgrades. So for jets it's the other way around, and I think that's a key aspect that nobody ever told me. Nobody told me that. The first time I experienced that was actually a long time ago with the Arado C3 variant, because the plane was always really fast and really nice to fly, but I couldn't get the guns on target because yeah, it just didn't work. After I unlocked it, the plane was even more beast mode than it was before, and I shot down so many more planes. But funnily enough, it was one of those upgrades that I got at the end of the spading circuit, because everything was much more important, right? Actually it isn't. I would recommend this upgrade before you even get the gun upgrades. It's that important. And you know, the numbers in War Thunder don't tell me anything. You know, when you go over the module with the mouse, it doesn't tell me anything. So then the next thing, the third topic, would be fake elitism in War Thunder. Now, Mike Goes Boom, my friend, made a video about this long time ago, and now it even reached New Sensei. And when it reaches New Sensei, that means quite something, because he was really pissed off, and he's one of the calmer YouTubers, I'd say, that I know. And when he gets pissed off, you know something is wrong. And I recognize that even in my comment section partially, you know, or when I talk to certain people, that they are completely, you just feel the arrogance and ignorance and stupidity when you talk to them when it comes to certain topics. They might be the nicest, most intelligent people in the world, but when it comes to certain topics, they just lose their mind and they just go full idiot mode. They just insist on things that you know that they aren't true, and they just, you know, mix up stats and facts, and when you come across them with yours, they just ignore them, so to speak. And that comes then to people in the comment section. I'm just talking about people in the comment section of YouTube. Now, I think those people would tell different things or use different words, let's put it that way, if they would stand right in front of you personally. Yeah, that's the freedom of the internet. And yeah, it's the old story, you know, World of Tanks versus War Thunder. In War Thunder itself, you have planes versus tanks, then you have RP versus simulator, RP versus arcade, arcade versus simulator people, and everybody thinks he's the greatest. And the actual core thing of War Thunder, the fun, the game experience, gets lost. They are so, you know, driven into this grinding process, into this getting good stats, and, you know, saying, yeah, I'm the best, look what I have, that they don't get the point actually. And that really annoys me. You don't win anything by pointing out that you are the greatest. I mean, you can make a joke about it, you sometimes can have a very good match and say, hey, look, this was awesome, because you felt that it was awesome for you. So at the end of the story, I feel actually a bit sorry for those guys. And RB is not for, especially RB guys, especially certain RB guys are just completely, I have to really feel sorry for them, because they are so blinded by their own shiny glory, you know, this I don't know. Yeah, then there's also the amount of hate that I'm partially stunned when it comes to those um, topics, and you know, that's me being a German saying that I'm stunned by this amount of hate. Kind of a history joke there for you. So then we come to the destroyer part. Gaijin recently announced that they will introduce the first destroyer, and that's so much bigger than all the boats that we had so far, you know, like the MZ1 or the AFD. And I think that's a good decision to bring bigger ships. However, that can be also the beginning of the inevitable downfall, so to speak. Let me explain. My criticism on the naval section of War Thunder was that we, as the players, didn't see any progress for half a year. Obviously, when you see the detailed dev block and so on, and the ship model, they had to work on it for weeks. But the presentation for the players in terms of progress for all the tests was not great. And you know, it doesn't matter if I have a big ship, is if the game mechanics are not there, okay? If the maps are still too small, if the damage models don't get reworked. However, they also said that they will rework that, which I will be very, very curious to find out what they're up to, and I support that idea. Changes had to be made, and I just want to see what's going on. Now, is this now the time where we come to, you know, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, battle cruisers, battleships, aircraft carriers, you know, Yamato? I don't think so, because while a destroyer is definitely a ship, you know, there's still a big difference, literally, between that and, you know, for example, even a heavy cruiser. And then, you know, it comes to the playstyle and the fun, the experience, balance, and so on. So yes, a destroyer is, you know, a vehicle that I wanted to see, and especially the armament, the pure firepower. Just think about this: 8 120mm guns. That is significant firepower, and you know, that's just one destroyer. Nobody knows at which tier this destroyer will be, how high the battle rating is, or which kind of destroyer it really is. I mean, yes, it's said that it's mainly focused on firepower, gun firepower, and you know, not for torpedoes. But you know, what about if you just talk about destroyers? You know, I know that there were at the end of the war German destroyers with 150mm guns. I think that was the largest armament on destroyers in the Second World War, if I'm not mistaken, at least gun-wise. But correct me if you know it better. Yeah, then one problem that I want to mention about high-tier content, because I forgot to mention this, is that I really have a big problem in getting into games for high-tier tanks in realistic and arcade alike, and same goes for jets in realistic. I don't get into, you know, the matches, and then the matches can be over within a minute, and I have to queue again for 5 minutes. That's not fun, okay? You know what I mean? So I really have to work in order to get good footage most of the time. Even with 60,000 players online, you know where I'm going. We have a problem at high tier. Now that is nothing new. That is an issue for a long time. But again, I have to come around and say, chats have to be made more attractive for players to actually play them. And I will continue making videos about it to make my fair share for the problem solution, to get people more of the taste for chats, because I made a break for much too long from chats. Yeah, so the queue time is a problem, and I think that's down to the high tier being relatively unattractive, especially if you going straight into it with the upgrade way, the stock performance of the vehicles, the competitiveness, the BR compression issue. You know, that is a self-fulfilling prophecy again. And I can show you the best games that I have and say, look how it's great, but then you play it yourself and you think to yourself, well, that sucks. Either it's me, I'm not good for it, and I have to still train with my prop planes to get into jets, or something like this. So I hope you get that point. But you know, this is a problem for years, and it's right in my face with playing those jets again. Yeah, so nothing that I can do sadly about this. So then the last War Thunder related topic would be the friend request issue. Now previously you could add me to your friend list, you know, like that, but nowadays there was a mini patch and now I have to actually agree to that, it seems like. And I don't know how this, you know, works out or whatever it is, but don't get offended if I reject it, because you know the friend list is limited as far as I know, and I need to have certain people in my friend list from the very first War Thunder matches that I had, to the clanmates that I have, to my, you know, real friends and so on. All that is important, and I appreciate it if you think that I'm worthy being one of your friends in terms of War Thunder, if you know what I mean, but my place is limited. And then I was in a concert and I watched a band called Ostfront. Yes, that is a German band and they make damn good music. You might think about the name what you think, but I was so impressed by the live performance, I just have to talk about it. So it was in Munich, and we had quite a nice travel to there, you know, German Autobahn, yes. And it was a really nice evening. A lot of the bands before that I didn't knew, but they also made a really nice performance. Now I was really impressed with the sound quality and the overall performance of all those bands that I have never ever heard something before. It was a small gig, like 300 people, something like that at best. Yeah, it was really awesome. And so my tip for you, just go on to a metal show. It's fun and there is beer. So having said that, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the Stock Talks. Give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we will see each other in the skies and on the ground of War Thunder.